Hey, what's going on, guys? Josh Barr. It's been a while since I've done a video. I got a text this morning from a friend asking if it was time to buy Bitcoin, it's time to buy the dip, buy the blood on the streets. And while it can seem very tempting for some people that think this is a double bottom, some people love double bottoms, some people don't believe in double bottoms. I can see why it's very tempting because here was the dip and it climbed nicely. And this dip looks very similar. And you're hoping that given these two little green candles right here that it's gonna climb nicely as well. But I will argue that it's not time to buy Bitcoin or even altcoins at the moment. I still think it's a little too premature, and the reason I say that is because just overall the market is still on a downward trend. Just Bitcoin, altcoins, just the market in general. So if you look at the total market cap here, I mean, just look at this steep drop here. I mean, there really is no trend reversal. There's no accumulation phase. I mean, I don't know how you can just look at this and say, "Hey, I'm buying." So this is what happened here, where there's like a little bull trap. And yes, if you bought here and you did a nice bounce, I mean, that's cool. But overall, the market is still down. So even just the altcoins, not counting Bitcoin, have actually falling even steeper, and no one really knows the bottom. It's very interesting because if you look at, um, so that's my Twitter here. If you look at Tizen or something, there you go. He says, here's what I'm looking at. I don't try to sell the top because no one knows the top, and I don't try to buy the bottom because no one really buys the bottom. He just tries to buy near the bottom. So here's the trend line. The trend line is still down. And, I would like to see a little breakout, a little accumulation phase. And then he also says that when his portfolio was smaller, he would just wait for a break of the downtrend first. So as you can see, there's still no break, and this is still pretty steep. This is still pretty steep. Here's a video by Tom Vase that he did like a day or two ago, and he says that we're in the depression phase. Um, I mean desperation, that we still haven't gone through the panic and capitulation, and this is the bottom you want to see, the despondency, the actually rounding out the fishbowl here. And here's the actual market psychology. So if we're in the denial, fear, we still haven't hit panic and capitulation. And again, this is the accumulation phase. You want to see an actual fishbowl accumulation or just a break of the downtrend. But it's not just Tone Vase. Even Node Investor, a guy I like to watch. This is a video he did about a couple days ago, and he's even calling for the possibility of Bitcoin going to under 6,000, 5,500, 6,000, 5,500. So I feel Bitcoin can will go under 6,000. Here's the chart here. I mean, it's pretty. Here's the top, and it's still on that downtrend. It's still in that downtrend. Um, Here's that little. It looked very tempting, but it didn't. Overall, it still hasn't broken out that downtrend. And here's that major support, if you want to call it that. But what is that? It's right under 6,000. Now, for my friend that wants to buy Bitcoin, or my friends that want to buy Bitcoin, I was like, hey, look, if there's a clear breakout of this downtrend, if it bounces pretty hard, and then you're looking at, an 8,800 Bitcoin, $9,000 Bitcoin, I could see how that would be tempting. And did you buy the absolute bottom? No. But hey, if you bought at 10,000 and Bitcoin's really gonna go to 50,000, like, how was that a bad trade? But if you buy here at 7,000 and then Bitcoin drops to 5, 4,000 with no support, I mean that's a losing trade. It's still a little early. Like I said, I would love to see a little accumulation here, or at least just break with this downtrend. So here was Node Investor's video that he did today, a couple hours ago, and he was talking about some altcoins that he was recommending. So here's ETHLend, and as you can see, it's at the top and it's going this downtrended, but at least it's does a little accumulation here, and you can see it's barely starting to round off, just barely starting to round off. It's a little early, and that's what you're trying to call the bottom. And here's ICX, which ICX is actually a really nice buy here. I mean, it's at $2.19, but if let's look at the last time it went to like $1.60, and very briefly $1.60, $1.75. I really like there you go, $1.64. I mean, any ICX under $2 is pretty good. But let's look at it. Let's look at what ICX is doing now. Again, that it's still on that same downtrend that Bitcoin's on. It's still taking the same beating. I mean, just look at this downtrend. I mean, I don't. And this is, if you might want to call this support here. Um, so I would like to see a little more sideways action, and then start bowling, or if it breaks out on the upward breakout, then I could see if you buy here and then it breaks out. But you got to give it a little bit more time. If you buy here, it might break here, and then there's really not much support if it breaks on the downtrend. So yes, some altcoins look very attractive. You guys are trying to fill your bags. But I just think it's a little too early. Give it a day or two, maybe a week. There are talks of by April 15th, people have to pay their taxes and have to sell. So we'll see. But don't get caught trying to buy the bottom and then the bottom falls out on you. But for the most part, again, Node Investor is or Tone Vase says we're here. He's calling for 1,300 Bitcoin or sub 6 Bitcoin. Same thing with a Node Investor here is 6K, 5,500 Bitcoin. I definitely see. If you just take a step back, man, just look at this chart and overall the market or Tizen did it better. I mean, we're still on that downtrend. There really is no clear breakout or even accumulation phase, if you will. Another interesting article was the fourth dimension article by Super Crypto. I'm sure you've probably seen it by now. It's a pretty good article. It's a little long, but it's very interesting. But the thing with the Super Crypto in this article that I was finding interesting, that as spot on as he is, he's calling for a 95% correction, which would mean $1,000 Bitcoin, and something about Bitcoin, 1,000K Bitcoin is a symbolic number. And here you can still make money in a choppy market. So far we're 70% there, but he's still calling for that 95% correction. So if Bitcoin was at 20,000, a 95% correction would be $1,000 Bitcoin. And again, in Tone Vase, he's saying that 1,300 is actually a possibility. So if you buy Bitcoin now at 7,000, and we go down to 1,000, I mean that's a little extreme there. But the run up itself was a little extreme too. So if here was oversold and then it's overbought and then oversold, I mean anything can happen. I just think it's a little early. I know people want to get in crypto, but the main thing I'm trying to say, just wait for a clear breakout of this downtrend. And same thing with your favorite alts right here. Just wait for at least a clear breakout, some kind of accumulation phase, because this downtrend is a lot steeper when you take a look back and look at the whole picture. So that's it. I'll definitely be putting out more videos soon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And until then, I'll see you on the moon.